Hello everyone! Today we are unhauling a lot, and I mean a lot, of books. For those new here, hi, I'm Christy. I'm a writer, mostly a poet, workshop facilitator, creative person, thingy. I've been on this hellscape for a really long time. Mostly we talk about books here. Okay, so this is my microphone, by the way. I physically cannot lift all the books that I am unhauling. Here's like a stack that I have on my desk now. So these are all going. These are all going as well. Yep. Okay. So basically a lot of books are leaving this bookshelf. This bookshelf does not, it's already double stacked. I don't know if you can see, but it doesn't hold all my books. I've got more. You can kind of see it here. So this goes to the floor. It's my bedside table. My bedside table is just a stack of books that I haven't read yet. So basically I'm hoping, fingers crossed, oh my god, please pray for me, that I will be moving in the summer back into London, because I moved out of London to be like, oh, you know, I'm freelance, I don't need to be in central all the time, why did I need to spend this much money on rent, la 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 la. This was just post-pandemic as well, so I was like, oh, I've been stuck in London during this lockdown, time for me to get out. And then I got out and I was like, oh no, I really rely on being around friends and live events and activities and all that good stuff. Been a trial, but it's been good. Like this has been a nice flat. Everything outside the flat hasn't been great. It's not a great neighborhood, but whatever. This does mean I have been deciding what books do I actually want to keep with me to move on into the next home of my life, and what do I wish to leave behind. So we're going to go through and I'll show you what I'm going to get rid of. I'm going to be taking these all to the charity shops, well, the ones that I can take to the charity shop. I did email my local library being like, hey, I'm clearing out a lot of books, do you want them? And they said, oh, thanks so much, no. And I'm just like, I know you're bankrupt, I know you have no budget for new books, but whatever. It is not for me to know or question what the council does. We just suffer. Bankrupt councils aside, we are getting rid of Stargirl. This was from a charity shop with the big gift aid sticker on top. Stargirl is by Jeffrey Spinelli. It's a YA book. I would say YA book. It was like a big book back when it was first released, which I want to say was in the 2001. It's right in the millennium. It hasn't really aged well, not in terms of problematicness, but I haven't reread this in a long time. Mostly it's peak manic pixie dream girl. This girl has manic pixie dream girl the way no manic, no pixie has ever dreamed or ever girled. So today's audience and lens and today's kind of like socializing, she's really insufferable. I'm really sorry, I'm sure she's lovely, she's really insufferable, so quirky, so not like other girls, so woo. Bye. This is Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenize. It won the Pulitzer Prize, big old book. I think it just doesn't hold up with today's understanding of gender identities and gender in general. And so how do I describe this? Basically about someone who is born intersex but is being raised as a girl but knows that they're different. Jeffrey very deliberately, and has said this in multiple interviews, that he deliberately chose not to consult any intersex people and just like write it based on vibes, because the power of some man's imagination is way more powerful and accurate than someone's actually lived experience, which is annoying because he could have just asked. And it would have enriched the book. And this was kind of released before sensitivity readers, quote unquote, were more of a thing anyway. But the way you could have just So it's not even a case of sensitivity, it's a case of just enriching your book. Like, you've deprived yourself and you've deprived your audience of that. Anyway, I feel reluctant to donate it because now someone else will have to have this book. But I don't know what else to do with it. I don't know any sustainable way to get rid of it either. Some of these books I've posted on Vinted as well. This book, Getting Things Done by David Allen, How to Achieve Stress-Free Productivity. I got this in university when I was just so overwhelmed and my mental health was bad. Oh, she was bad. She was not doing well. And then I got this book and I put little like sticky tabs of useful bits, and I have not touched it since university. I remember it being really useful because this was kind of the first time I was coming out of school in sixth form, and there was a huge shift into kind of very, very independent learning and very much a huge amount of independence and freedom with managing your workload, and I kind of couldn't handle it basically. So this was useful then. I'm now extremely organized, and I'm kind of really well known for it. You know, I've literally made a tax guide for freelancers, which is free, or pay what you can. I will link it in the description. And I literally work as a PA, a personal assistant. So not much use for me now, but I hope it helps someone else. The Opposite of You by Lou Morgan. It's a YA contemporary book. It's about these two twins. They're very, very different from each other, and they've really grown apart. They're in their teenage years, and one twin does a runner, and the other twin is like, could you not do a runner? It's kind of the story badly explained. Sorry, there's just a child screaming in the courtyard. Is a child in distress? No, the child simply wishes to scream. So I enjoyed it. It's not one that I want to like keep and reread, so I'm gonna let this go. That book would be great in the YA children section of the library. Library, why do you not want it? I don't know. How to Save an Hour Every Day, Guaranteed by Michael Heppel. Again, this was during my university years where I was like, I can't. Time just isn't working. I don't have enough time. I don't understand it. So I got this. I also felt like I was procrastinating a lot, which in hindsight I wasn't procrastinating. I was just very distressed all the time because university was not fun times. I posted this stack of books on my Instagram as well, and some of my friends have reached out, and one of my friends wants this book, so I'll be posting it to her. Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. This is another book that I do not want circulated, cast back into the world. So this was like a big international bestseller, made into like a big movie. The issue is that Arthur Golden interviewed a lot of geishas, promising them that he won't name them, he won't out them, he won't expose them, because there's a lot of like kind of secrets and confidential things. You don't want to like, you don't want to catch a case. Most notably, he interviewed Minako Iwasaki, who was one of the top geishas at the time, promised her anonymity. He straight up names her in the acknowledgement and goes on thanking her so much. And this book heavily just kind of takes the story. It's basically based on the majority of her life, which she did not agree to, because you're supposed to have like a code of silence with your clients as a geisha, and she got a lot of backlash. She got death threats. It was bad. It was bad for her. And there was a whole court case, and then they settled out of court, and then Iwasaki wrote her own book. I would rather read that book than hang on to this book, which is kind of classic, just this American dude going to Japan and then just assuming he can tell a geisha story better than she can, but under guise of like, oh, I made it fiction. Whatever. This is The Summer of Impossible Things by Rowan Coleman. I did enjoy reading it. It is really good. I got it at an event, and it's actually signed to me, so it's personalized to me. Sorry, Rowan. Sorry. If your name is also Christy with the exact same spelling as me, so Christ with a Y on the end, this is perfect for you. It's like a little bit sci-fi. It's a romance. It's really good. I really enjoyed it, but not something I would like reread again and again. So I'll let someone else enjoy this. Hopefully someone else called Christy can enjoy the signed copy. Sorry. I've been to a few like events where they give you a book and there's a chance to have the book signed, and then they always default to like signing your name, and if you don't if you're like, oh, actually, can you not sign it with your name? Can you just sign it? They look at you really weird. They get a bit weird about it because they really, they think that you're just going to resell this book, but like with signed edition. And no, I'm sorry. I just might not hang on to your book forever. I might want to gift it to someone. I might want to just donate it. Like, this might not be a forever book. I'm sorry. Anyway, I hope someone else enjoys this. This is It's Fine, It's Fine, It's Fine, It's Not by Taz Alam. Taz Alam blew up for some poems she did on YouTube a while ago now, and this is her like full-length poetry collection. If you are a younger person, a youth, someone in there, I would say like early teens, and is interested in poetry but doesn't really know how to like get into it, I really recommend this. I have been writing poetry and been in the poetry world since 2016, so we are coming up to 8 years. So I really admire this like first book, this debut book by Taz, and I hope the other young people picking this up will love it, be inspired to write poetry themselves and read more poems. Poetry is for everyone. Right, we're now onto this stack that I've been holding on my lap and has been slowly crushing my thigh. So we have The Yogini by Sangeeta Bariopadhyaya. I should have looked it up. That's entirely on me. And translated by Arunava Sinha. It's from Tilted Access Press, who are dedicated to publishing translated fiction. This book was really weird. It was really weird. It's very surreal. Very trippy. Not sure how I feel about it, but I read it. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous cover. Also, I listed this on Vinted and someone has just bought it, so I'm going to take this down later today and post it off to its new home in Norwich. We have Notes on a Nervous Planet by Matt Haig. This was, again, like a really big bestseller, #1 Sunday Times bestseller. It's a non-fiction book. Matt Haig's kind of really well known as like a mental health advocate, and this book, it's kind of self-help, but not really. I don't really know how to describe it. It's kind of on navigating this modern world and kind of its stresses, anxiety-inducing this world really is, and how to kind of achieve mindfulness, how to keep going and stuff. I enjoyed it. It didn't even make a big impact on me personally. I know some people have read this and been like, oh my god, it changed my life, and I'm happy for that, and I hope the next person gets this book, it has that effect on them. I think the gripe, if I may express my gripe with you, is that Matt Haig gets lumped as, you are the mental health guy. What mental health? All mental health. You are all of the mental health. Every mental health, you represent everything. And he's very vague when he writes about mental health. It's not really specific on what mental health condition. Different mental health conditions are very different for each person, and not all advice is applicable or works. Like, the sentiment is there, the heart is there, and I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. There's real flaws when you lump one person as all of the mental health. Oh, this I really love. There's a Satellite by Nick Lake. I love a space book. I love a sci-fi book. This has a really interesting idea. Is these group of young people, these teenagers have grown up in space for their entire lives, and they're around 15 years old, and it's now time for all three of these young people, these three teenagers, to return to Earth, and they'll live on Earth. But it's not great. It's not doesn't work very well. It's beautiful writing, wonderful storytelling. I really loved it. Won't be rereading it. I'm trying to just keep books that I would reread again and again and again. This one I will let go to a new home. Okay, this book, I'm holding it off camera. I'm not going to show you because, are you ready for it's a little bit of tea, a little bit of drama, but not too much, so don't expect too much. This is a children's picture book, storybook, written and illustrated by someone I used to be friends with. Oh, there was no big falling out or whatever. I picked this up to kind of support her. I went to, if she watches this, she'll know I'm talking about her, but I don't want to, anyway. I went to this event, I picked up this book to support her. She was like not very enthusiastic that we were there, because she was like, oh my god, everyone's doing so much better than me. Oh my god, everyone's doing so much better than me. Like, oh my god. Oh god, I'm really behind. Like, no one cares about my work. And I'm like, I've come all this way in my free time, in my spare time, quite a distance, to support you and buy your book with my money. Is it signed? It's not even signed. She didn't even sign it. Even though she was there when I bought it. Just like, oh, thank you so much for coming. Oh, thank you for being here. La, 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 la. I would have loved that, but no. And we don't talk anymore anyway. Not because of that. For many other things. She was so draining. She just kept complaining about boys. And boys and boys and boys and day naps and day naps. And just like deliberately placing herself in like not like dangerous situations, but just like not good situations with men. And she knew they were bad. She knew they were toxic. She knew all of that was toxic, but she just kept doing it again and again and again. I was like, oh, who's the flavor of the month? That's ruining your life, and that you just have no power, apparently. Anyway, we haven't spoken in years, but every time I looked at this picture book on my shelf, it just brought me back bad vibes and bad memories. And it's time. Goodbye. Moving on. This is The Snow Child by Ewan Ivy. Oh, I should really look up how to pronounce everyone's names. It's really bad. I'm sorry. This is a hardback. It is a, would I say a YA book? An adult book? A fantasy book? Contemporary book? It's very magical. It's very beautiful. It's also utterly heartbreaking and destroying. And I could only read it once because it was so sad. Beautiful. I really, really recommend it. Behold the Dreamers by Mbolo Mbue. This is great. It's great. It's about two immigrants that have come from Cameroon. They arrive in New York City, and he's taken on the role of a chauffeur, and they're really trying to make it work in America. It's really about the kind of immigrant struggle and this chasing of the American dream, and how quote-unquote real or achievable the American dream is. It's not very achievable. It's a myth. It's heartbreaking and it's beautiful and it's so good. I personally, emotionally, I would struggle to continuously reread this. It's had a big impact on me, and I don't need to like read it again to kind of carry that impact with me. I love this. Like, get it. Read it. This book, my friend has claimed it. This is Be More Pirate by... Who wrote this? Hey, who wrote this? What happened to putting your name on the book? This is Be More Pirate by Sam Conniff. It is quite sun-bleached, sorry. It's a non-fiction book. It is signed, but... Oh no. Oh my god, that makes so much sense now. Oh, okay. So this book is signed, but it's signed to Leo, who I love. So Sam, wonderful Sam, I was a part of a leadership program back in 2020, cursed year truly, and Sam Conniff came on and gave some of us a workshop on like giving a speech and things like that, and he was really great. It was really useful. And then he also gifted everyone on the program a copy of the book, Be More Pirate. Unfortunately, there was a lot of mix-up with the post, so every single one of us, all 12 of us I believe, received a book that was actually in dedication to someone else. So I have Leo's copy, Leo has someone else's copy, someone has my copy, and I'm actually giving this copy to my friend who wants it. I'm in a dilemma now. Do I restore this to Leo? Like, we're all now, since the program, we're all very spread out across the country, if not the entire world. I have not seen Leo in a little while. The last time I bumped into them was on a train. I'm gonna drop Leo a message just to let them know. I don't think they'll mind, and then fingers crossed they don't mind, and then I can give it to my friend who wants this book. This is Mika in Real Life by Amiko Jean. This is an advanced reader's copy. I believe it came, yeah, this is an uncorrected advance copy. It cannot be sold or circulated, so I'm not really sure what to do with this book. I can't donate it, definitely can't give it to the library. I'll see if any friends want this. It is about a woman called Mika Suzuki, and her life is just a wreck. She can't hold a job, she can't get it together, and she's really disappointed about how her life is. And then the child, who's now a teenager, the child she gave up for adoption when she was born, has decided to come back into her life. And Mika really wants to be someone her daughter would be proud of. Gorgeous story about trauma and family and belonging and difficult parent-child relationships. Gorgeous. I'm just going to put it over here. This is the first Artemis Fowl book by Owen Colfer. If you don't remember, this was really big back in 2001. I remember Owen Colfer doing an interview where he wrote this and then he submitted it to some agents, and normally you get like a lot of rejections. He got like 3 agents straight up, no rejections, because it is kind of a magical fantasy book. So this 12-year-old boy, Artemis Fowl, is like a brilliant criminal mastermind child genius, and he does he want to enslave fairies? Because I know he kidnaps a fairy. Does he want to enslave them? Hashtag cancelled. Hashtag cancel Artemis Fowl. Oh my god. So it's like a magical fantasy book. At that time, Harry Potter was like huge, and still is obviously, but all the publishers were like desperate for the next Harry Potter book. The market was prime for it. And then this book dropped and there was huge hype around it. People did really love this book. There's been a lot of like pressure for a screen adaptation. I remember seeing a casting call for Artemis Fowl, the character, and I believe it's been made. I don't think it's been received very well because I've not heard a single thing about it. But yeah, this was like the book. You might be wondering why it looks like a library copy. My secondary school were having a big book sale in their library, so I got it for like 10p, and it is withdrawn. I haven't stolen it from the library. My school library is not like, where the fuck is this book? Where's this bitch? She stole a fucking book. No, it's fine. It was a fun read, but I'm not 12, and this isn't like a book that has a lot of nostalgia for me, so bye! Well, another children's absolute classic. The first of the Roman Mysteries. The Roman Mysteries, remember her? This is The Thieves of Ostia by Caroline Lawrence. If you don't remember, or you were not of the culture, the grip this series had on the kids in the UK. I think another equivalent of this would be, if you can hear kitchen noises, by the way, it's because my housemate is cooking. The grip this series had, I think, where else? I think people were looking for, again, an equivalent of like Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, which is based heavily on like Greek mythology. This is based on the time of the Roman Empire. So it's about this kind of ragtag group of kids, and this book sets up them all meeting and coming together, and they solve mysteries in the Roman Empire. It's a fun read. Someone I know actually studied classics at university because of this book series. I feel like a lot of people studied the classics because of this and Percy Jackson. It's fun, it's cute. I have no intention of collecting the rest. Again, it doesn't hold that much nostalgia for me. It was something I enjoyed, and enjoyed watching like a bit of the BBC adaptation as well. Although I've just remembered, like, so they speak Latin in the book, like, but it's like written in English, but it's the understanding that like, oh, when we say English, we actually mean Latin. And in the show, they speak English, being like, oh, this is Latin. My dad, who has no imagination and just hates all TV and movies anyway, complained about us watching this series because it wasn't realistic, because they were speaking in English and not in Latin, and they should have been speaking in Latin. This is why I don't watch TV with my dad. Great YA book, The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. It's about a girl who is 12 hours away from her and whole family being deported to Jamaica, and Daniel, who is a Korean American boy just struggling with his parents' expectations and his future. They meet. That's all the time they have, the 12 hours. It's really beautiful. They kind of like falling in love, but they're kind of resisting it. It's great. I really enjoyed it. I feel like I would have really loved it if I was a teenager, but I think this is something that someone else will enjoy and love. After the Sun by Will Hill. It is about a girl who grows up in a cult. She's kind of waking up to the reality of the cult she's living in, and she's like, oh no, this is bad. I need to get out, because it gets really dark and kind of really bad. Phenomenal story. I do recommend it. Again, not something I would really read though. This one, okay, these are unusual. So what I did was I bought a copy of The World's Wife by Carol Ann Duffy, and then several months later I accidentally bought another copy of The World's Wife by Carol Ann Duffy. As you can see, this was £3. There's a great bookshop in Bristol that sells like all the books for like super cheap, for like £3. So I went to its Clifton Community Bookshop in Bristol. That's Clifton Community Bookshop in Bristol. I love Bristol as a city anyway. This is like a brilliant bookshop. They hold like a lot of classes and book clubs and like talks and things like that. I believe it's still kicking about. I really hope so. It sells low cost books, often second hand. Phenomenal scenes. We love to see it. Anyway, I have 2 copies. I need to figure out which edition I want to keep. This is, I'm holding up now to my face. I don't know why I'm doing this. This looks a lot nicer, doesn't it? Look at that cover. Ooh, she's beautiful. Not so much. Nice. Also, I'm confused as to why it's so different in thickness. You can't really see it on the camera, but it feels a lot different. It's probably the paperweight as well. This is not interesting to you, I'm sorry. This I got for £2.49 from a charity shop, and it's signed, well, it was Lucy Maddox's book. Lucy, thanks. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of this copy. I'm going to list it online, and I'll keep this one. Okay, that's the books. So I've listed a lot of them online on Vinted. If they don't sell within like a couple more weeks, they're all going to be taken to the charity shop. They're all going to be taken to charity. We are decluttering. We are Marie Kondoing. No joys being sparked. We release it into the world. It does no good sitting in my bookshelf. I will not become a hoarder. I am not a hoarder. Thank you all very much for watching my video. I'm significantly more active on Instagram. I'm also on TikTok every now and then whenever I re-download the app, because I have to delete the app because that app really comes for your attention. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!
I went to New Orleans.